Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Wellbeing with Seamus. I am your host, Seamus Corry, and thank you ever so much to all of those who have subscribed to my YouTube channel, all of those who have followed me on my Spotify channel. If you haven't already done so, I would seriously advise you do, because this evening, ladies and gentlemen, I have before me an absolute wonderful individual. She is a writer, author, successful novelist, and award-winning Biba editor. And really, who I have had the pleasure last weekend to spend in the company of, together with 11 other people, creating and designing Rattled Awake, Volume 11, the mental health series, coming at you on the 5th of September. And in honor of that fantastic achievement, in honor of the experience of the weekend, what better than to get the editor herself on to talk about the amazing work we have created. Lonnee, it is amazing to have you on this evening. Thank you so much for your time. I know you're up to beyond ceiling level in terms of edits at the moment, and thank you for taking the time out to speak to me. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Lonnee Rey.
Thank you, Seamus. It's actually, these workshops that we do, it's precision. And I'll tell you that my job is easy because of you guys.
Oh,
It really is. There's far less editing, and then there turns into be more formatting of a book, and then getting it uploaded to Amazon and doing all those steps of producing a book that take more time, mostly, often, than actually going through the chapters that we built over the weekend. And it's my pleasure to see that. And you guys just knocked it out of the park. Every single one of you, every one of you.
it was a powerful weekend, wasn't it? It was a powerful
Yes.
weekend. I don't know you. I like we just been speaking off air before we pressed record, and I was exhausted after. I was completely flat. I don't know how you must have felt after leading a group uh, of us on what was a very, very, very powerful, emotive weekend, right?
It is a lot, and it is a lot for all of us. And then the back end for me includes going through everyone's chapter with a fine-tooth comb and reliving the moments you relived to get the thoughts down on paper to
Yeah.
share with the world. And especially in Rattled Awake Volume 11, the mental health issue, I felt an especially heavy responsibility to make sure that the book delivers,
Yeah.
and on many levels. So I had a list of the types of stories that I wanted to have. And I tell you, Seamus, you were the first one to come in, and it has been an absolute delight to know you, to work with you, to be blessed by your energy, your enthusiasm, and your incredible story.
Thank you.
And yeah, and you carried the workshop with your wit, your humor. Carolyn says she's working on the Guinness, by the way, just passing that along.
Good, good. I'm
Yes,
glad. I'm glad. I'm glad.
yes.
She's taking her medicinal amount every day, I presume.
She's doing well with it.
Good.
She did say to pass that along, tell Seamus I'm working on the Guinness.
That's good.
And yeah, and so this list that I had, Seamus, this book has come together in a magical way.
Yeah,
It really did.
yeah.
Uh, and it right down to the last minute of having Tanya and her son come in, because on my list was a parent-child story. It worked out. All of it. I mean, the gamut that we've covered, the depth, the vulnerability, and I think most of all the impact, because Rattled Awake, over the last 5 years, what shook you? How did you pivot for the positive, and how are you better, not bitter? It is a big draw on a person to go back to that moment and say, it was like this. It's not now, but it was.
Yeah.
And the whole intention is to be helpful to another standing in the shoes you were wearing so that they can find their way out too. And you certainly helped. I have this philosophy of my goal was always, after all this stuff I've been through too, was to return with a lantern and a laugh and show others the path. And that's what every single person is doing in this book. That's what's so powerful.
100%, absolutely
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Lonnee, what drives you as a person? What drives you as an editor? And my second question is, what is what is Rattled Awake? What is it all about?
Oh boy.
Two big loaded questions, right?
Yeah, and they are interrelated. They are
Hmm.
it in 2020 I had a rather rude awakening,
Hmm.
and it was there was time to dive into rabbit holes, and came up awful dirty and went, oh God, what's that? What's going on in the world? What's really going on in the world?
Hmm.
And and it was fairly traumatizing to I don't even own a television or a microwave. I'm one of those people. But it was it was diving into alternative news and finding much deeper details, much bigger picture, much greater, oh my God, moments. And I was talking with a friend. This was after I fell, and I went roller skating for my 60th, and I fell and I broke 2 bones in my wrist, and my hand is permanently fixed in a place that can't type anymore.
Wow.
And see, I just come off of a ghostwriting job. I do love ghostwriting. I do, because I love research
Hmm.
and being able to dive into someone's drawers, so to speak. And yeah, yeah.
You said it, not me.
Yeah, you know how I meant it too. And do a deep dive in some drawers, y'all, and come out with incredible stories and angles that they don't even think to present their story in. And I love doing that. And I had been helping self-help authors for years, transitioned into being ghostwriter as well. But with the inability to type and the level of injury I had, I was really, really stuck. And I didn't know what I was going to do.
Hmm.
And I was talking with someone that I used to work for as an editor, and I appreciated that he gave me a shot. But he had pointed out how good I was at story development and being able to see a much bigger picture.
Yeah.
And my love of marketing, so content strategy fell into that. And he knows me quite well in those ways. Anyway, we were just having a chat, and I said, very casually, Seamus, I said, surely I'm not the only one who's been rattled awake about what's been happening over the past 4 years. And I kept talking. And he said, stop. That's a good title. And I was like, damn it, I wish I'd thought of it, because I love titling things. He said, that's a great title, Rattled Awake. And
Yeah.
in honestly 20 minutes, we had a .com and we had a concept. And
Wow.
yeah, it really fell together quickly, obviously. It didn't work out between he and I. Creative differences for sure. I really wanted to get away from the self-help style of delivering a message and harken back to my mentor, uh, Mark Victor Hansen, a co-author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, among many other things, and make it more of a pivot for the positive, stories of change, but how are you better, not bitter, if you are?
Yeah.
And sometimes we're not yet, and that's okay too. But I wanted to open the floor for people to tell stories they don't normally get a chance to tell. And I've always been like that, Seamus. Right from the get-go with my first talk shows, I was like, give me the story behind the story. What has nobody else said? What do you never get to say? I want to pull those gems out, and that's part of story development. And
Yeah.
that's why I love what I do so much. It's easier to call me the editor, but really it's I'm a book producer and a ghostwriter and all these other things. But it's about story development from the jump, honey. That's everything. and being able to see into someone, their story, their soul, what their big picture is, and whip it all together. Woo! And make it come out like, the gold that they didn't even know they owned, and it's just flowing out of them. That's my joy. And then to see what happens for the authors later. Oh my gosh, the career trajectories, the confidence, that everything that changes for the writers is why I do what I do.
Absolutely. Am I right in saying you have 10 volumes under your belt right now?
I have 11.
11 under your belt right now.
Yeah, the Bullied, How I Got By
Mm.
was the 11th. Volume 11 of Rattled Awake is the 12th. So 12 books in 12 months.
Wow. That is some turnaround.
I set my standards pretty high, and I got to keep up with my own record. So the turnaround is fast, and
Yeah.
that's also mind blowing. People are like, "How do you do a book in a couple of days?" Well, it starts way back here with talking to the right people. I spell that with a W, and you don't have to be a writer to be published. You just have to have a burning passion for a story,
Yeah.
and then take the zip line to the finish line. Because I've seen and heard nightmare stories, and I've got one of book collaboration that just, ah man, they can go bad, and they can take a long time, and there could be no collaboration, no cohesiveness, and I really just, partly it was necessity, hon. I had to figure out a way. I had to find a way to do this, because action alleviates anxiety.
Mhm.
And the anxiety I was feeling, Seamus, was there's a lot going on in the world that a lot of people aren't aware of. They're watching what I call lamestream media, and they're being fed, through the propaganda box, and that's all they know. And I love this expression: sleeping people don't say no.
Yeah.
And so I'm all about ringing the proverbial triangle on the porch. Hear ye, hey guys, come on, hey,
Yeah,
hey,
get
hey,
up. Yeah,
there's stuff
wake
going
up.
on here.
Yeah, wake up and smell the heather. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, and I want the best for everyone. And so I had to figure out quickly how to publish a book quickly. And because I didn't do formatting prior to this, so I had to learn that too on the fly. And there were people that were, it's so funny, honey, in life, how we think we have to have all the pieces in place. But if remember building with Lincoln Logs or Legos, you didn't know all the pieces that you needed to have until you needed them.
Yeah.
And then you went sifting through the bin, and you found the ones that you needed.
Yeah. And you put the piece together, right?
Yes. And
Yeah.
then it's all there. It's just you don't know that you need the extra long pieces until you do, or the window pieces until you do. And then they're there. And so often I think we get stopped on our passion, on actualizing our dream, because we think, oh, I don't know enough yet. I don't have all the pieces yet. But if you just move forward, take the lid off the bin, and maybe dump the pieces out, maybe just start sifting around, you'll be surprised what's there.
Absolutely. I'm a right now in saying, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm a right that you've worked with over 70 authors now.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
The reason it matters so much is because, well, one, there's just a stat: 80% of people say they want to write a book, and only 3% ever will. And that's sad. And I think it's because it's overwhelming. See, the beauty of Rattled Awake is it's a chapter book.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can take a chapter out of your life. I'll help you. It doesn't have to be hard or overwhelming. I'll help you.
Yeah.
And taking a chapter out of your life, like it, just look at it like an article. You can write an article in a weekend, right? Everybody says, yeah. I said, great. Come on, let's do this. And then what happens is they have the tool that they need so often, because a book establishes three things: ACE, authority, credibility, and expertise.
Mm.
And when you have that, doors open. And when you're a best-selling author, bigger doors open. And we do our best to organically promote our books to be international bestsellers, and even bigger doors can open. Speaker fees go up, course values go up, self-esteem goes up. All kinds of things change.
Yeah. Therein lies the magic, right? Therein lies the magic. You're probably not going to tell me, but what's your secret sauce
To what?
to success? Because you have been successful. How many bestsellers have you had now?
They're all bestsellers.
They're all bestsellers, right?
Yeah, they're all bestsellers.
Yeah. So there must be a secret sauce on it.
It's that we come together as a collaborative effort and everybody rows. Our organic promotion is what works.
Yeah.
It's really getting the book. We are determined to get the book into as many hands as possible, and it has value. So
Yeah.
when you combine those two things together, plus a chapter book is consumable, it hits all the marks.
Hmm.
All these years in publishing, I've not necessarily in publishing, but certainly in helping writers get their books done. I know what readers want.
Yeah.
And so this just it's a tick, 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 all the boxes. And away we go. And now, gosh, sometimes, Seamus, before we even begin our promotion, the book will have been on Amazon for a day. And by the time I get to my authors, I'm like, well, guys, it's already in a #1 spot, or it's already in the top 100. We must have a following at this point with Rattled Awake, because those who follow this series get an announcement that a new one's been published.
Wow. Very clever.
Yeah.
Very clever. Very, very clever.
Yeah, the trick is to keep the authors going. Keep going, keep going. Don't give up. We've got to get as many people onto this book as we can.
Absolutely. Hence the
Yeah.
reason for the podcast, hence the reason for the brand message, hence the reason for the organic growth that you've had since 2020 in terms of this entire series, which is absolutely amazing. Lonnee, I'm going to leave the next answer to you, but tell me, I know because I experienced the weekend, but I would much rather hear it from you. Tell me about who we've got on volume 11.
Where do I start?
Where do you start?
With you. You have been from the jump, #1 in my heart, in the
Thank you.
campaign, in the promotions. Your story, Saved by an Angel, is incredible.
Thank you.
You are incredible.
That means a lot. That means a lot. Coming from you, that means a lot, right? Because I started with an idea. We reached out, we discussed, we had that discovery call, right? You said, yeah, this has got fire. We connected, and I became part of the group, and wow, what an absolute awesome honor and humbling pleasure it is to be part of this group.
Oh, the people are just right. I'm humbled. I'm honored. I cried a lot this weekend just because
Yeah,
I'm so
yeah,
proud of you guys.
yeah,
So the rest of the list includes returning co-authors from Rattled Awake. So I say I've helped 70 writers. Many have returned for 1, 2, or 3 more books, Seamus.
yeah.
So there is some overlap of writers. One of those is Rob Profanchik. And Rob's story, Carolyn is another one, Carolyn Smith. Carolyn and I she's brilliant. She's brilliant. She might have a brain injury, but she's brilliant. There's no but. She's freaking brilliant. And she said, I hope that Rob's 12 Steps to Living a Beautiful Life, that somebody picks that up and it becomes a thing. And I said, well, in the world of self-publishing, Rob can pick that up and make it a thing. It could end up being a thing on posters, on cards, it's a wonderful idea that he's come up with.
Yeah, I'm going to get a T-shirt printed with that on it.
I love it. Oh, that's
Six in the front, six in the back.
it's perfect.
I haven't told Rob yet, but that's what I'm going to do.
Oh, he's gonna know in a minute.
Yeah, sure is, by the way.
Yeah, his concept of taking the 12 steps that changed and saved his life because he decided not to die, as an alcoholic. And he wrote about that in Rattled Awake Volume 5, and it's just such a moving story. And but he said, I called him out of the blue. That was one of those special
Wow.
moments. And
Wow.
because we've stayed in touch all along, he
Yeah.
has been a true friend. And I just out of the blue, I said, rah, 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 da, da, da. Is there, is there any chance because I know he'd been wanting to do more than just talk about recovery.
Hmm.
And that has been sitting in both our brains for 7 books. That was 7 books ago.
Wow.
And and I said, is there any chance? And he says, actually, there is. And so, yeah, he came to the table with his right. Like that worked out,
That's amazing.
isn't it? And he wrote a beautiful guideline for life.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a beautiful life. I mentioned Carolyn. Carolyn was also a co-author in the Bullied book.
Yeah.
Wow, what a woman, what a story. She's a kick in the pants.
She is.
I know you guys are competing, but she is still my newest BFF. Okay,
I
I just
get that. I just get that. I get that. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
adore,
Yeah.
and her brilliance is is there for everyone. You just get to know Carolyn and she'll have you laughing in a
Yeah.
minute or
She is.
two.
Yeah.
Yes. And her story about her brain injury is it's rough, and her life has changed forever because of someone's mistake.
Yeah.
And she still keeps shining. She shows up. Hi. Like, how do you do it?
Incredible.
She is incredible.
She's
What an
incredible.
inspiration.
Yeah.
So we have her story. We have Greg Spiller's story. Greg is a returning writer from Rattled Awake, Volume 4. And back then he wrote about solar flares, and I wrote about don't be scared, be prepared. How to have a bag ready to get out the door in 3 minutes, no matter what the evacuation reason was. So we wrote very different chapters from everyone else in the Rattled Awake series. It's typically a personal story. Well, this time Greg went very personal, and it's incredible what he's come through.
Yeah.
And the homelessness and the mental health system for men. That's really, I love his focus, and how it really let him down as if he wasn't down enough, and how he has come out of all of that, and it's extraordinarily well written, and what a journey, what an honor. What an honor to tell everyone's story. But Greg and the men's mental health is absolutely spot on, perfect timing. And he told me when he was actually the first person to sign up, and this was months ago before you. He said, "I know I told you I would, and I'm ready. And besides, number 11, that's my lucky number. So let's go." And then it turned out that the timing was that September is Suicide Prevention Month and October is PTSD Awareness Month and Anti-Bullying Month. It just worked out this way.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, so yeah, Greg was like, see, I told you, it's meant to be. I'm like, according to who? We'll have that conversation another time. But yeah,
Yeah. It just felt like perfect synergy this weekend, right? It just
didn't it?
perfect synergy. It's like we all came together on Friday, and as soon as we came, it was like boom. I don't know if you felt it, but I certainly felt a
Oh my
boom
God. I
of
couldn't
energy in the
wait.
room. Yeah.
I couldn't wait for you guys to meet. Are you kidding? I was chomping at the bit. How many times I said it? I can't wait for you guys to meet each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was even better than I could have imagined.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah,
So
yeah. And
who
that
else?
synergy shows
Who
up
else
in
we got? Who else we got?
Dante.
Dante.
Oh, Dante.
Dante. I love Dante.
Dante,
Man.
man, Dante Wade is an exceptional young man, old soul, somewhere in between, an ambition on wheels, a determined, wonderful sweetheart.
Absolutely.
young man that is just articulated a story inspired by his grandmothers
Yeah. Yeah.
and the app, Reju, which was short for rejuvenation, Reju app. It He created it with his team to help with mental health. How perfect!
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yes,
Absolutely amazing.
yes. Speaking of young people, we have Brady Anderson.
Yes, we do.
Now, Brady is Tanya Davis's son. Tanya is also a returning Rattled Awake writer. And Tanya's story, we're going to call A Mother's Journey, because Brady's story is called My Journey to Nerd, or Through Nerdcore. And he's actually in revisions right now, truth be told, because we see a bigger opportunity for him to inspire teens. Brady's 15. He'll be 16 next month. And so we are redoing his story so that, because he found his tribe at a very early age, how lucky is he? The part
Amazing.
of the part of inspiration is dissatisfaction. Dissatisfaction is the core of all change. And he just hadn't been happy. He hadn't been able to find people that accepted him. How
Yeah.
many of us feel that way at any age,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So he detailed his couple of years of going to nerdcore parties, and he's becoming a creator. And so I talked with Tanya, his mom, this morning, and I said, let's leverage what he's already done with his creator self, with his LED mask and his love of performing, with what he wants to do to get the nerdcore guys and their attention. And let's see how we can help him grow his YouTube
Oh,
channel and
brilliant.
be an inspiration to teens.
Brilliant.
So that's
Brilliant.
what we're working on right now. This is the stuff it's made of, Seamus. I'm so happy to have this happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, he mentioned, Tanya mentioned 21 creators at the show last year. I think Brady's going to be 22, right? I think
Yeah.
Brady's going to be number 22.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm very excited for him. I'm also intrigued to hear some of the music by some of these guys that I've
Yeah.
got. I don't understand it. Music made for video games. I don't get it at all. But I've went through his chapter with a fine tooth comb, and I keep seeing these names. Who's JT Music? I got to go look up JT Music. I've got to go look up some of these guys to see what they're up to that has his attention. And then his mom. I called Tanya out of the blue. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, well, it was weird. She hasn't been around for 4 months, 6 months, maybe. She's been very busy. Um, and her post was, and I so seldom do feeds. I'm always working on LinkedIn. But it showed up at the top of the feed, and I went and checked out her TikTok, and I said, something said, call her, call her, because she was doing hashtag mental health.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's going on, Tanya? And she changed her trajectory, where she was in a completely different mindset when she did the previous Rattled Awake story about her career transition and such. And it's very inspiring what she's done and what she had to do because of her health, that she
Yeah.
had to take time off. Well, then she said, oh, by the way, my son, oh, by the way, there's this going on. And I said, oh, how's that affected you? She said, well, I I'm going to help. He's what I'm going to be doing for the next 3 years. And I know how to market. He doesn't want to listen to his mom. He don't want to listen because I'm his mom. But I tell him I did a nonprofit for 9 years, honey. I know what I'm doing. so
Yeah.
so then they became the answer to a prayer that I had, Seamus, that I would have a parent and child story.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, because you do that quite a lot, Lana. You manifest quite a lot. You spoke about manifestation this weekend, right? You manifest quite a lot. What was you manifested the turkey costume once, right? Was it a turkey costume? Was it some
No,
sort of a
no, it really wasn't a turkey costume, but that would be interesting if I wanted one because it would show up.
yeah?
No, I was studying prepper stuff, so no doubt it rubbed off that there was going to be a need for a camouflage onesie.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Because if the power went off and it's winter and we gotta skedaddle or something, I wanted to make sure that I would blend in with the woods. So I
Yeah.
wanted, a hunter's, yeah, a hunter. Look, I'm a tomboy. Hey, I am. Um, but I never saw one before. What comes first? What are the origins of desire? What makes us want what we want?
Yeah.
It's weird. I mean, I've had so many unusual things show up, but there I was. It was on my list, camo onesie, and I was sitting at my desk typing away, and all of a sudden, this intuition said, "Go, go now!" And I was like, "What? Go, go now!" And I was like, "Okay." And I got up, and I'm driving. It's not far. I got one of two stores. Is it this store or is it this store? Oh, it's that one. Okay, go to that one. And I walk in at 10 minutes to closing, and right in front of me is the men's rack, and hanging right there is a camo onesie. A camo onesie.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
And it's big enough that it fit over my parka. So I was like, cool, I'll be good. I'll be all right. It's
You blend in. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, no. I look like the Michelin man in the woods, but if I hold still, you won't see me.
Yeah. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah.
But I'll be
Absolutely brilliant.
warm.
You'll be very warm. With a parka and a camel onesie, you're going to be so warm.
Oh man, the things that have shown up in that regard. But
Mm.
you know what? I was talking with Carolyn the other day and she said, that doesn't happen for everybody. I said, I beg to differ.
Yeah.
And I said, manifesting happens for everyone.
Every single
No, it
day.
really doesn't. I said, Carolyn, if you wanted celery, you'd go to the store and you'd get it.
Yeah.
That's manifesting celery. Oh, I never thought of it that way. I said, start thinking of it that way. Start affirming all the things that you manifest. Look around you. And I'm asking everyone to do that. Look around you, every single thing you brought. You're looking at me? You looking
Absolutely.
at me?
I'm looking at you. Absolutely.
Oh, goodness.
Manifesting is real, right? Manifesting is
Yes,
real. Yeah. I do it all the
absolutely.
time. I do it all the time with car spaces. Say if I'm going to a meeting or something and I'm in one of these public car parks, I'd say, okay, I want that car space, I want it there, and I want it on this floor. Boom. It happens.
It does. It does. It
Yeah.
really does. And then there's things that I love that you do that. It's intention. I tell people when you're taking a road trip, ask the angels to go before you and get you there safely. And
100%.
and inevitably, what happens on the freeway for me is the traffic parts big time. It's like I got my own highway. It's, oh, it does a
Yeah.
lot,
Yeah.
like
The
a
more,
lot.
yeah. And they create an extra lane just for Lonnee, right?
I'm telling you, it's front, back, side. I got the whole
Yeah.
freaking highway. I could be
You
going,
know, yeah.
woo.
Yeah.
No, it
You
really
know.
is. Yeah,
So
so yeah, I really want to, and that's in part what, I'm going to write a couple different kinds of chapters, Seamus, and that, with the lottery winning, I'll leave, we can pick that up in a minute, but it's a puzzle to me what makes us want what we want. Today I had an unusual circumstance. I went into a store that I haven't been into in years, and I was drawn in, and the woman came in out from the back to advise on some hair color, and I had to go back in to ask her something about it, and we started talking and hugging and exchanging numbers, and we're like, we can't wait to see each other again. And I
wow.
drove home smiling. She's like, I can't, what a blessing. I knew I had to come out from the back when, Susie Clerk came out and said, she has a question. I knew I had to come out.
Yeah.
She said, are you a believer? And I said, yeah, I wouldn't be here if I wasn't. And I do have a phrase, I am divinely guided, connected, and protected. And even in spite of injuries and dramas that people cause, we're still here fogging a mirror, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So we got Brady Anderson. We got Tanya Davis. Who else we got?
Rob Profanchik.
We got Rob Profanchik. We got Dante Wade.
We have Carolyn Smith.
We have Caroline Smith.
We have Bree Campano.
We have
Brie.
Rey Campano. Yeah, yeah.
Now she came along. Brie was actually going to be in volume 10.
Okay.
And then her heart issue happened.
Mm-hmm.
And she ended up in the hospital
Yes, she
having
did.
open heart surgery.
Yeah.
And I was going to have her in 10 because whatever. And then I said, please come in and please do the mental health issue with us. She felt good enough. The day that we did our story development call, Seamus, she said, it was just 10 weeks ago today that this happened.
Wow.
And she came along into my world thanks to I was on the lookout for affiliate marketing marketers, and her associate, Alex Hitt, love you, Alex, is he's they're like this, and I met him, and then I met her, and then I was like, we got to keep going on something. We got to keep doing something. And so that's how Brie ended up in the mix. And her story is just phenomenal for anyone who's had I don't want to call it a terminal diagnosis, but she had a birth defect, and it ended up being, hanging over her whole life. And she just said, I don't care. I'm going to live my life until I can't. And there are other people who just back off and go, oh, I got a serious diagnosis and it's over. And she's an example of how it could turn out if you change your mind.
Yeah. Change mindset, right?
Yeah. Mindset
Yeah.
management.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then she's excited because she teaches people how to do podcasts, but she produced big podcasts and has lots of connections. So she's going to help all of us. But in particular, Dr. Ellen Joan Ford, who is also woo, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. We're not worthy.
Oh my gosh.
We are
Oh
not
my
worthy.
gosh.
Yeah.
The unassuming single mom from New Zealand
Yeah.
who led the rescue for the New Zealand Army of 563 men out of Afghanistan.
Yeah. Wives, families, children, the whole 9 yards.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And she, she's such a sweetheart. And she said, I don't want to lean on this thing. I just felt like I had to do. But I said it does get people's attention because not a lot of people are that strong of a leader. And now she's leading the charge to change the way that corporate regards parents.
Yeah.
And how the work world goes. I'm so happy to be able to share her and shine the light on her and get her into the US network and podcasts, and I mean not just Spotify podcasts, big ones, like
Yeah.
big shows.
Yeah. The main players, the big players.
Yeah. And she's just a delight. And we're very lucky to have everybody. But the diversity of our stories is pretty remarkable. And what she did, and what she said, and it pissed me off. So I did a TED Talk, I wrote a book, and I became a keynote speaker. And I said, two little tykes, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, were you pregnant when you did the TED Talk? Because your son is barely old enough. I'm doing some math here.
Yeah.
Woman, she says, what does she call herself? Terribly ambitious.
Terribly ambitious, yeah, about
Or
changing.
terrifyingly ambitious.
Terrifyingly ambitious about changing the world.
Yes.
There's my second T-shirt right there, right? I got Rob's 12 and I've got Ellen's mission statement.
And then we have the beautiful spirited Hakan Euland, Hawk as we call him. Hawk wrote with me and Carolyn in Bullied.
Yeah,
He is an incredible person.
absolutely.
And his chapter on the business of psychiatry and drugs is it is an eye-opening chapter,
Yeah,
an eye-opening perspective. And this whole thing about chemical imbalance and you need to do this for life, he said, it's been proven wrong.
yeah,
So, it's time that we all updated our perspectives on these things, because I don't know, in the US, I would totally be guessing, but somewhere around 80% of all people are taking some kind of pill.
yeah. Am I right?
Yikes.
Am I right in saying that opioid addiction is the biggest killer in the United States?
Medical malpractice or diagnosis, medical misdiagnosis is.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. There's a book right there, right?
I mean, I could be wrong about that. It could be heart disease, but I think, yeah, they're neck and neck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's frightening. That is
it's,
frightening.
yeah, yeah. It's just trusting somebody because they have a white coat on doesn't bode well anymore.
No, it doesn't.
We have, and so if nothing else, with all the darkness coming to light in this era we're in now, we've all got to become our own guru. We've all got to become our own key researcher. It's estimated in 2025 that 90% of content online will be AI. And that's a real scary thing.
Hmm.
I will not let anybody use AI in our books. And it's primarily because of authenticity of voice, but secondly, we never know if Amazon will at some point revoke the allowance of AI created content, and everybody who ticked that little box, yes, I use AI, could have their work pulled. So I want to be really protective of the original voice, but also 90% of all content is going to be AI.
Wow, that's
Uh,
frightening. That
that's
is frightening.
terrible.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is. So yeah, not sure how I got off on that. Bring me back in. What'd I do? Where'd I go?
Um, why should, why
Oh,
should,
oh, the percentages.
yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing that's happening that's really a shame is the censorship of voices.
Hmm.
In one of my chapters, um I talked about the censorship of Dr. Eric Berg, and Dr. Berg has had thousands of people write testimonials, which it's hard to get, right?
Absolutely.
Thousands of them have certified his help in their health, and YouTube has pulled his videos and they block his rankings when you type in keto diet. Now it's the Mayo Clinic, and they don't, in spite of their marketing and their message of same with Johns Hopkins, that they're all weak whoop whoop. They're actually not, and people like Dr. Berg really are, and they're doing this to him.
Mm.
And
Mm.
it's now more important than ever that we look beyond the spoon feeding of propaganda. And if people don't question it, well, like you said, sleeping people don't say no. And it's time to wake up. I did a chapter called "Are You a Seeker or a Beaker?"
Mm.
And you can hear all my chapters on YouTube. I voiced them all. And so seekers, obviously, we're looking. Beakers are like, go ahead and fill me up with whatever you want to fill me up with.
Mhm.
So, that little wordplay. Hey. And it's really important that we look into things. Well, Hawk has not just done the research, he's lived the life.
Yes.
I was floored when he said he had 9 other times tried to end his life.
Yeah.
And Greg too. Greg has been through it. I've been through it. I mean, I tried to kill myself when I was 8
Mhm.
with baby aspirin. So yeah, a lot of us have struggled you too, you
Yes.
as well.
Yeah.
We've struggled to keep fog in a mirror, and we're
Mm.
here. We're still standing.
Yeah, we're surviving, and I would say we're thriving, right? We're
Yes. Yes.
thriving.
Yeah.
Divinely guided, inspired, and protected. I like that.
I'm divinely guided, connected, and protected.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm looking at a dry erase board I have right now here, and at the very top it says, and it's been on there so long it won't come off. I allow my soul self to guide me perfectly, to alter what I created and magically manifest the soul's wishes.
Wow.
I genuinely believe that we all have an agenda here, if not a blueprint, and that maybe we're the passengers and not the drivers after all. And we can decide to roll the window down and put our feet up or not, but we're still probably not driving the vehicle as much as we tend to think so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not to be a fatalist, but I kind of think there's some things that are fated. That's what gives us a big yes. That's why it feels right. That's why it's like, go now. okay, because
Yeah,
something else bigger than us knows.
it's like a push. It's like a push,
Yes,
right? It's like a
yes,
push.
yes.
Just like I felt the push to, okay, connect with Lonnee,
I
write my
know.
story, get it in, meet the group. We feel as if we've known each other forever and we're
I
going to be,
know.
we're going to be best pals for a long time.
As long
I
as
know that doesn't happen simply because you just turn up. It happens because you do the work right, and everybody in that group has done the work right, done the work.
and that brings us up to our last author, Eileen. Eileen
Eileen,
Build.
yeah.
And she healed herself of fibromyalgia in 3 months.
Yeah, she did the work, right?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then because she did that, yeah, and in her fist raising moment, heal me or take me, she must have been in a lot of pain to get there, you know.
Yeah.
And then this just in from the universe. Here's a whole blueprint on how you can help others, and that's what she's been doing.
It's amazing.
What?
Absolutely, absolutely amazing. She almost has a moral imperative to help others, right? Based on how she has been helped, right? That's the moral imperative now, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I absolutely understand that. I get that. I get that.
yeah.
She
And
just she just can't sit on this information any longer because if she sits in it, she's not fulfilling her life purpose, right?
well, she decided that her life purpose should include promoting herself instead of others. She's been a finalist as top USA Promoter of the Year in the International Singer-Songwriter Association 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
She's worked hard to help other people achieve and succeed. And she said when she turned 60, it would be her turn. And then voila, volume 11, the mental
Boom.
health issue. Out of the blue, I called Eileen and I
Wow.
said, hey, what you doing? I swear to
Oh
God, I
man,
just
I love the way you put the question, Joe. What you doing? What you up to? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It just wow.
Wow.
So I think we've got everybody, and then
Yeah.
yours truly, and it may be another one or we'll see. But our core group is elevated and will elevate others.
Absolutely.
And I want to see this just keep impacting and bringing light and inspiring. See, a chapter is easy to consume, and you guys did such a good job. I believe with all my heart that a chapter can carry the impact of a book without being, an investment of time.
It's true.
And, I know that you have books ahead of you. And what you did, see, Carolyn said, tell him I'm working on the Guinness, but also tell him that I wish he'd written more of a chapter. And I said, he has a book in him. And he was brilliant. So I will talk to you. You were brilliant
Thank
in the
you.
way that you told just enough, because I know there's so much more.
Yeah.
You did an outstanding job.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That means so much, Lana. It really, really does. And as a first time writer and as a first time uh, not a first time storyteller because I've told quite a lot of stories in my time, but this is the first time I've committed one to print. And for that to come from you, that's amazing. That blows me away. Absolutely, absolutely blows me away. Uh, and I,
Well, there
th-
you go. You
and I,
have it
and
coming.
yeah, it's coming my way now,
No,
right?
no, you have it coming because you did such a great job. You did such a great job. There was no pen needed. Your chapter was perfect.
Oh, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. No, I truly appreciate that, I'm taking in every word, and I absolutely
Good.
adore you because of it. And it means so much to me from somebody like you who's seen so many stories pass you by, right? To say that in the way you said it is absolutely incredible, and I've got it on tape now, so I'm going.
Yes. Yes, it's evergreen, honey.
Yeah, I'm going to milk that now, right? You know, I'm going to milk that. I'm going to chop it up. I'm going to send it here,
Please
there,
do.
everywhere. Yeah,
Put it on a loop. We'll do a
yeah,
loop. Do a
yeah,
loop.
yeah, yeah, I am. Yeah,
It was perfect. It was
I'm just
perfect.
going to put the headphones in over there. I'm just, yeah, yeah. That's my new mantra. It was just perfect, man. It's just perfect. Yeah. But you're right. You're right. There is a lot more there that what you have given me this weekend and what you've given us all is the ability to uh, show not tell, to
Yes.
yeah, to start and finish, to ask your question, but also to get really in touch with the key message.
It's all about the message.
It's all about the message, right? And
Yeah.
what would you say, Lonnee? What would you say, putting it all together in a beautiful bow with these beautiful people all in a row? What would you say is the message from Volume 11, The Mental Health Issue? What's the key message, Lonnee? Why should people go out and purchase this book?
No matter whether you're young, in your teens, or you're a senior citizen or somewhere in between, there's a message in here for you for whatever stage you're at in life where you might be shaken up, shaken. And someone is commenting on it in this book. There is something in here for everyone because mental health is being a human. It is trials and tribulations. And this book, I don't want to be trite and say, oh, it's full of hope. I will say that it has solutions, and it's not a preachy book. It's not a self-help book. It's chicken soup for the soul.
Yeah,
And that makes it easy reading.
yeah.
And even though it's like Carolyn, there's no neat and tidy bow on her story.
There's
It's same thing with mine. My hand will never get better. I have to accept that I can't do a lot. So for those who have a story where they're permanently changed, and I want that to get out there, Seamus. There are a lot of people who have, through following protocol, can I put it that way, have been damaged,
yeah,
permanently changed. Their health has been wrecked. There's something's happened to them.
yeah.
And Carolyn's story can be a story of uh, 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 you're not alone. I think that, now that you've asked me that question, I've kind of muddled through it. I think the message of Rattled Awake Volume 11, the mental health issue, is you are not alone.
Absolutely.
You may be alone in your despair, or nobody understands. Believe me, I've been there. We all have. But you're not alone. You're not weird. You don't deserve to be in pain. It's not a lesson. You don't have to find a lesson in your trauma. What you're going through or what you've been through is real, and it's validated in these pages. And in that regard, I think it will have tremendous impact for all time.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Lonnee, where can people get it? Where can people get the book? Where can they get it from? Where is it going to be?
It'll be on Amazon and then on Goodreads, at least for to start.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. When is the world tour kicking off? Because we promised that, and we go to New Zealand first, right? It starts in New Zealand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll go wake up some sheeple and shear some sheep, and we'll have a good
Let's
old time.
do that, and let's go visit, you know, um, uh, Lord of the Rings world and see where we are.
Wonderful park.
Yeah, 100%. I have to go. Have to go. Absolutely have to go. Lonnee,
Famous.
thank you ever so much. Words fail me in my expression of thanks to you in terms of the journey that I've been on, the journey that my fellow co-authors have been on this weekend. But we recognize too that the journey's only beginning for a lot of us, because this book is not only going to change our lives, but it's going to change the lives of a lot of people who've going to come into contact with these words on these pages in the way they're going to read them, right? So for that, I thank you for your support, ongoing support, guidance, and advice, for your beautiful feedback on the chapter. Thank you ever so much. I'm going to print that off and put it up on a wall. And when my other 11 chapters happen, see that 11 chapters? I've got my 12th one down cold, so I just need 11 more. 11. I've seen 11 all over the place today. I went swimming this morning. My locker was number 11. So I'm manifesting the number 11 all over the place right now. Volume 11, Rattled Awake series, the mental health issue. Coming to you live, ladies and gentlemen, on September 5th. Be there or be square. Keep your fingers on the button, keep your fingers on the purchase, keep your fingers on the buy, keep your fingers on the download button, because this thing, once it hits the shops, once it hits the stores, once it's hit the shelves, is going to absolutely blow your socks away.
And if it does, let me just throw a pitch in there. Please write a review so that people behind you will go check it out, because that's the first thing we do when we look on Amazon. What do they say about this product or that thing? We look at reviews. The same thing is true of books. And even if you only read one person's chapter, have a comment on it. Please, please, please put your review on Amazon, because there is something about this book. There is a synergy. It's kind of like we've been able to fit 12 beautiful crayons that have turned into sparklers into a box, and it's meant to go poof. And it's because it serves so many people. And so I'm going to thank you all in advance for listening to us and laughing with us. If not at us, that's okay.
Okay too.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
I'm all right with that.
And most of all, and even if you're like, oh, I'm fine, mental health, I'm fine. Think of someone that you know, because chances are they're suffering silently.
Yeah. Give them this book.
Yeah.
Share the download with them.
Yeah.
Give us some feedback.
Yeah. It'll be $3 at a lifetime of knowledge for, $3 once it's on sale. It'll be free when we start. And it could save a life.
It could.
So let's do that together.
Absolutely, sister. Absolutely. Lonnee, thank you ever so much for being on my show. Thank you ever so much for coming on and sharing your guidance, your advice, your wisdom, your masterful approach to the creation of what is, for me, an amazing series. Rattled Awake, folks. Rattled Awake. Absolutely powerful anthology. If you've not connected with the series, get out today and connect with the series. On my show notes, I'm going to have all of Lonnie's links on there, so you can connect with her directly. If you've got a story, if you have a story that you feel should be shared with the world, my first protocol and my recommendation would be go and speak to the amazing Lonnee Rey, because she will keep you right. These stories are going to keep coming. Lonnie's going to keep editing. These books are going to continue to wake people up, and I'm being proud and privileged and humbled and honoured to be part of this amazing anthology. Lonnee, thank you ever so much.
Thank you, Seamus. You changed my life.